Veronica presents Part 12 of the AI Repertory Theater's production of Lorene on the Lam by Marie Elena Zuniga. The police are outside Gertrude Thigpen's house, and last we saw her, Lorene and Ace Stewart were headed to that very place. Let's listen in. Chapter 57. The static of a car radio and a woman's loud, angry voice filtered up to the second floor of Gert's house and through the window. Emily let the curtain fall, wondering what was happening. She felt oddly calm about the strange scene outside, thinking she should be more excited, given the police and a hearse were there and Gert was dying. Surviving the tornado and her house falling on her had made anything else second-rate, she supposed. At least the police were here now and could help. Emily glanced over to the bed. Gertrude was still, but she was mumbling. She couldn't tell what she was saying, something about seeing Nathan again and about Mac. Poor thing. Old Gert was delirious and dying. The sound of pounding on the door came next. Emily went down the steps as quickly as she could and found a policeman on the front porch. He was young, big and strong. Could have been her son, had she ever had one. Had she ever married. The badge sewn onto his shoulder sleeve said Tennessee State Trooper. He tapped his hand to the brim of his hat in a gesture of courtesy.
Ma'am, may I come in, please? I'm looking for a Lorene Thigpen. Is this her residence?
Emily's fingers fidgeted at her throat. Maybe Gert had been right. Maybe Lorene had escaped from prison and was on her way here, and the police found out. She rallied herself and invited him in.
Officer, Lorene hasn't lived here since she was a teenager, but her mama is real sick, and I'm so glad you're here. She's upstairs, and I do believe she's dying, and I can't get hold of the doctor. Please see if you can help her. Please.
The policeman darted up the stairs. When he returned, he told Emily he'd call for an ambulance on the police radio. Emily followed him out to the police car, watching him make the call. When he finished, she asked him about Lorene.
We have reason to believe she's on her way here,
The officer said.
Oh?
Emily said it simply, but behind it was fear. She didn't know what she'd do if Lorene showed up, or how she'd keep her promise to Gertrude, especially if the police carted Lorene away.
What about that hearse? That's rather odd. Why is it here? And who are those women out there?
The officer's expression was strange, and Emily couldn't tell if he wanted to smile or use profanity. She was sure he had used a good bit of the latter in his work, but not the former.
We found the hearse on the side of the road with those two women. Couldn't get them to leave it, and one cursed up a storm saying she wasn't getting in any
He paused and continued hurriedly.
wife-beating police officer's car. Insisted on seeing Lorene Thigpen again, to thank her.
Thank her?
The officer's tone was matter-of-fact.
Don't know why, ma'am. I told one of them to drive the hearse and follow me here. Seems Miss Thigpen stole the vehicle and kidnapped them, although...
He stopped again, as if trying to decide what to say next.
Although they both claim they came here of their own free will, which I find hard to believe.
Why Lorene would bring people with her to see her dying mama didn't make sense, and Emily told the officer this.
Yes, ma'am. That doesn't make sense to us either. None of this does, but we can't get much out of them. One wants to get back to her work in Carthage, and the other, well, we're not sure what to do with her.
As he was speaking, he walked over to the hearse, a startled look on his face. He rushed back to his police radio, and Emily heard static and voices and calls for help.
Sorry, ma'am,
The officer said quickly.
but it seems one of the kidnap victims has run off, and I need to find her. I've already called for the ambulance and for backup. Help will be here soon. Wait for it. I need to go after this other woman.
With that, he ran off into the nearby woods, his gun drawn. Emily stood there, feeling like another tornado had sideswiped her, but of the human kind. She stared at the hearse, wondering who in the world was inside. She walked closer to the passenger's side, leaning in for a better look. An older woman sat there, dressed in a strange way in black and white, and a veil. She looked harmless enough. Why had she gone with Lorene in a hearse? The woman saw Emily and smiled.
"Hello, could I have some water, please?"
Emily wondered what to do. This woman was a stranger, but she seemed so frail and kind, and she was wearing some kind of big cross around her neck. Giving her water felt like the Christian thing to do.
Of course,
Emily said.
You just come inside until that nice officer comes back. I have to warn you, though, I have a dying woman inside.
The strange woman's eyes widened, then she grinned. Emily thought that was an odd thing to do upon hearing of death.
"Then this is where God wants me to be right now,"
she said.
"I'm supposed to help you and pray for this poor woman."
Emily felt greatly relieved. This was clearly a woman of God, although she wasn't sure how or why she had shown up at Gertrude's house.
Oh, yes, please do pray for her. Her name is Gertrude, and my name is Emily. Emily Watkins. Let's go inside and you can tell me all about what happened with you and Lorene.
"My name is Sister Sarah. Pleased to meet you, Emily,"
she said, following her into the house. Chapter 58. Lorene suspected the police were waiting for her at her mama's house. If they were smart at all, which they most likely were, they'd know about her prison record, her escape, and stealing the bus. Yep, they'd be waiting there with handcuffs. Didn't matter anymore about going back to jail. All she wanted now was to see her mama one last time. Fortune or money from her granddaddy was no account either. She just wanted to see her mama again and ask her forgiveness. Next to her, Ace grabbed his shoulder, breathing hard. She had to get him to Doc Hodges, or at least to some medical help. Her wet palms clutched the steering wheel, and she felt like she was about to pee her pants. Lorene had never felt so trapped in her life, but she decided this was her fate now. Get to her mama's, get arrested, and make sure the police got Ace to the doctors. She glanced over at Ace, who was turning as white as baking soda.
"You okay?"
Been better. Let's just get to your mama's house.
Lorene stepped on the gas pedal and finally was driving down the main road that coasted into the center of town. She sped through red boiling springs, part of her taking in familiar places like the post office and grocery store, the covered bridge, the park with the pumps that once gushed out mineral waters, pushing the sights aside so she could get home. She finally saw it. Bennett Hill.
There's the house at the top of the hill,"
Lorene yelled. A police car with blinking lights was parked in the gravel driveway, and behind it, the hearse. Seems the police had found Tilly and the nun and brought them here. Lorene took a deep breath and stepped out of the truck. She had sealed her fate days ago by stealing Montgomery's tour bus. In a few seconds, it would all end here. She stood there, waiting for the police officer to jump out of his car, gun drawn to arrest her. Or at least for Tilly to come rushing out of the hearse, bawling her eyes out. Lord, she missed that crazy woman. And why that feeling came over her now was a mystery. Lorene wanted to have a few seconds to remember how the house looked last time she had been here, take it all in. But she didn't have time. She rushed over to the passenger side and helped Ace out of the truck. They walked past the hearse, Lorene shaking, then the police car. Much to her surprise, nothing happened. Both vehicles were empty, like everyone had been raptured. Now here was a piece of good luck. She needed it right now, and she'd take what she could get.
"Come on inside, Ace. Hurry. I'll call Doc Hodges from here."
Lorene bounded up the front steps and ran to the front door. Maybe the police were inside, and it was a trap, an ambush. Didn't matter. She had to get Ace some help and see her mama. The door was open and she rushed inside, calling her mother's name. Upstairs, she heard voices. She hoped one was her mama's. A phone sat on the hallway table. She picked it up and dialed the operator. After phoning for medical help, Laureen learned that an ambulance was already on the way, called in by the state police. Where had the log gone? She quickly hung up the receiver and sat Ace in the living room.
You gonna be okay here?
He nodded.
Go on upstairs and see your mama. Sounds serious.
She took the steps two at a time and stopped at the bedroom door. The scene was a blur of faces at first as she focused on Sister Sarah, then Emily Watkins, who was now old and wrinkled, then her mama, a withered body spread out on the bed.
Laureen, you come, just like your mama said.
Emily's voice trailed off as Laureen rushed to her mama, kneeling at her bedside.
I've been praying for her, Lorene.
Sister Sarah said. Laureen felt tears beneath her eye sockets that wanted to come out but couldn't.
How is she?
No one said anything, and Laureen looked up at Emily, who just shook her head.
Poorly. I think you came in time, Laureen. Not sure how awake she is, though. Keep saying she sees Nathan. And your grandpa.
Emily struggled to keep her voice steady and lowered her head. Laureen asked if she could have some alone time with her mama. After Emily and the nun had left the room, Laureen sat on the side of the bed and clutched her mama's hand. She leaned into her ear and whispered,
I'm here, Mama. I come home as you asked. Please don't die on me. Not now.
Her mama didn't move, her complexion like chalk, her expression peaceful. Laureen couldn't tell if she was still alive or not. She had aged in 25 years, and Laureen was sure she had contributed to that sum. Seeing her like this was like an emotional punch in the gut. The tears finally came, first one, followed by more, until Laureen was weeping and sniffling out loud. She rested her face on her mother's chest, sobbing and heaving, still clutching her hand.
Mama, Mama. I'm so sorry for all the sorrow I done caused you.
She moaned through her tears. Laureen suddenly felt her mother squeeze her hand. She looked up, startled, brushing away the tears. Her mama's eyes were open, but vacant. She spoke in a strained whisper.
Laureen, daughter, you came. Knew you would.
Mama, Mama, forgive me.
She gave a weak smile.
All's forgiven, child. Emily has a letter for you. From Mac. Important. You need to know the truth.
The truth?
Yes, daughter. In the letter, do what your grandpa said. You have to.
Her mama closed her eyes and lay very still, not speaking for a few seconds. A deep sorrow suffocated Laureen's throat and chest. She wanted to say a million things to her mother, how she wished she could take back all her bad behavior, how she wished she had been around to help her mama more, especially after she got sick, how she was sorry she had made such a mess of her life, how she wished she had an evening to sit with her on the porch and have them laugh together, something they did when she was a child and that they rarely did when Laureen became a teenager. Instead, Laureen said nothing. She couldn't. Her heart was breaking, something she didn't think was possible. Not in this way. Sure, men had broken her heart, but this was her one and only mother. Laureen didn't think she could bear this pain. It had blindsided her. She had thought mostly of the money her ma had mentioned. Laureen suddenly realized she had been selfish most of her life. She didn't want to admit it, but she had been as self-centered as the men she got involved with. Her mama opened her eyes again and whispered,
Be good, child. Forgive yourself. Others. You did the best you could.
Laureen began sobbing again and tried to get out words.
Mama, Mama, I'm so sorry.
She clutched her mother's hand, and it was cold. In her eyes was a light Lorene had never seen before.
Oh,
Her mama said, a flush across her white skin.
it's beautiful. And they're a-waitin' for me.
She turned and looked at Lorene again.
I love you.
She murmured. And then she closed her eyes, bowed her head, and stopped breathing. Everything stopped. The world, her thoughts, her dreams. Lorene felt like she couldn't move and at the same time was spinning off the face of the earth. Her mama was still and dead before her. She leaned over and kissed her mother's creased forehead, still warm but starting to grow as cold as marble. She tucked the blanket around her frail body and placed her hands across her chest.
I love you too, Mama.
She said in hushed tones, choking back tears, just as Emily knocked at the door. Emily rushed in and went to the bed and felt for Gertrude's pulse. Then she sat in a nearby chair and started sobbing.
Can't believe she's gone,
she said, tears rolling down her wrinkled face. Sister Sarah came into the room and made that funny cross sign across her shoulders. She walked over and placed a comforting hand on the top of Lorene's head.
She's at peace, Lorene. I'm glad you got to say goodbye,
the sister said. Emily pulled a hanky from her dress pocket and sniffled.
Sister, would you mind checking on Ace again? Wait with him if you would until the ambulance comes. I need to speak with Lorene in private.
Sister nodded and left.
Would love to sit a spell and catch up with you, Lorene, but I reckon we ain't got much time until the police get back.
In her daze, Lorene was surprised she had the common sense to ask where the police were.
One of the women with you ran off into the woods. He went after her.
Tilly.
I have something for you that your mama insisted you get. Don't know what happens next, Lorene, as I reckon you're going back to prison. But here it is.
Emily pulled it from her pocket and handed it to Lorene.
I think you should read it now in case anything happens to you.
Lorene looked bewildered at Emily. She unfolded the letter and read it, her face growing flushed, then agitated. It was a long letter and she skipped over some parts, but she understood most of it.
Don't believe it,
she said softly.
Don't believe it.
Emily nodded.
So you read the letter?
Sorry, Lorene. I had to read it, considering your mama's condition.
Why didn't you go after it? It would have helped Ma out.
I only just found out, and anyway, it wasn't my place. Gert wanted you to honor Mac's wishes.
Wiping a tear from her cheek, Lorene shoved the letter into her jeans pocket.
Seems I come by being a bad seed legit-like, eh?
Reckon so, Lorene.
Outside, the sound of the ambulance startled them, as did the sound of a loud male voice and a woman yelling,
Get your cotton-picking hands off me! You dad-burned policemen are all the same! Women haters and wife beaters, all of you!
Lorene sighed.
Guess my time's up. How am I ever gonna do what my grandpa asked me? I'm trapped and going back to prison.
Emily got a strange look on her face.
There is time, Lorene. I'll stall the police while you go out the back door. Head to the cave. You know what to do then.
But Emily, you'll be aiding me in escaping.
Emily scoffed.
It's the least I can do, child, given your mama saved my life. Now hush up and get going. There's a flashlight in the hall closet by the phone. It'll help you find your way. You know how dark these woods get at night, and we don't want you falling off that bluff, too.
She stopped and gave Lorene a strange smile. Lorene knew she'd need more than a flashlight and pulled out Splat's gun, tucked beneath her belt and hidden by her shirt. Emily gasped.
No time to explain.
Lorene said, hoping the gun would offer some protection. She opened the chamber to find no bullets.
Dang.
Splat must have used the last bullet on poor old Ace. She set the gun on her mama's bedside table. Mama. How could she go and leave her mama's dead body here? A knot formed in her throat.
I know it's difficult, Lorene, but Gert always wanted your happiness. She'd want this.
You'll make sure that Ace...
I'll take care of him. Now go before they find you.
Lorene swallowed hard and nodded. She went over to her mama's body, bent down and kissed her cheek.
I'll be back,
she whispered. Then Lorene dashed downstairs, grabbed the flashlight and ran out the back door and into the woods. Chapter 59. No telling where Splat was in these big woods. If Tilly had a say about it, and chances were good she did, she'd tell the police about him and they'd be tracking him. But they'd also be hunting her, too, like she was some no-good coon up a tree. No matter. Lorene had to get to that cave and ran breathless into the thick of trees, the flashlight cutting through the deep shadows. She had only gone a quarter of a mile when a familiar voice behind her startled her.
Stay put.
Lorene wheeled around to find Splat pointing a rifle at her. Inwardly, she cussed up a storm for being so stupid yet again. In her rush to get Ace the help he needed, she had taken Splat's gun but neglected to find Ace's rifle, which must have fallen into some bushes during the struggle.
Might as well shoot me now, Splat. I'm going to prison anyway. How'd you get loose anyhow?
You obviously weren't no Girl Scout. I got out of those knots in no time.
He had a strange look in his eyes that, for the first time since she had met him, frightened her.
You're coming with me.
Where?
To Nashville.
She stood there, trembling inside, wanting to ask why. Instead, she asked,
How you plan on getting us there?
I've already phoned for help. We're going to the outskirts of town and we'll be met there.
Gosh, darn it all.
Another stupid mistake. She had no idea Splat had a cell phone on him that she should have taken.
You know there's police in these woods looking for you, Splat.
And you too. So as I see it, we both better skedaddle. Now move!
A brainstorm seized Lorene.
Look here now. You said you needed money, and I have a fortune nearby. Lots of money. Let me take you there, and then you can have all the money you want and get out of here.
He gave her a sinister smile that showed his big teeth.
You must really think I'm stupid. How would you have money out here in the middle of nowhere?
My grandpa. He hid it in a nearby cave.
Splat seemed to ponder her idea for a few seconds.
Nope, don't trust you. Besides, I have plans for you that will work out very nicely. Now move!
Poking the point of the gun barrel into her back, Splat led Lorene out of the woods and onto the main road. He pulled out his cell phone and mumbled that their location was near a blinking yellow light at a narrow crossroads. Within minutes, a fancy silver sedan pulled up. Lorene couldn't dredge up a bit of saliva in her mouth. She was so terrified. This was it. He was going to kill her and dump her body somewhere in the woods. Oddly enough, she felt comforted that at least she had talked to her mama before she died, and even might be able to see her on the other side. Although that might not work either, because Lorene was sure her mama was in heaven, while she herself didn't think she was going to warrant such a lofty position. The car pulled to the shoulder and Splat opened the door.
Get in,
he ordered. Lorene climbed into the back of the car that stank of whiskey and cigar smoke. A man sat in the driver's seat, and all she could see was a tousled mane of thick black hair, enveloped in a foggy cloud that made her cough. Splat climbed in beside her, pointing the gun at her head.
You know how long I've been waiting for you on these hick side roads? I thought you might mess this up.
The man grumbled without turning.
Don't blame me. This one here caused a detour in our plans. But I'll do as you contracted me to. I always meet my obligations.
You better.
the man said, turning to face Laureen. She gasped.
I got it all figured out. How does this sound?
Splat said to the man, an evil grin on his face.
Escaped convict breaks into famous country music star's mansion and commits murder.
Don't matter to me.
Josh Montgomery said, revving up the engine and driving away from Red Boiling Springs.
I just want my wife dead by morning.
We hope you enjoyed part 12 of AIRT's production of Laureen on the Lam by Marie Elena Zuniga. For more stories, visit veronicapresents.com. You can help us grow our audience by rating and reviewing this show. Laureen on the Lam is available in print and ebook editions on Amazon.com. Thanks for listening.